There we go. All right. Good night to all. I am Pilar, represent a premium streetwear brand without modern, unique designs. And the mission for my brand is to highlight pillars in the community and positive influences. With that being said, I have Miss Coco, Miss Priscilla here, Miss C, King Crown on the stage. This is Dane for Entrepreneurs. Women talk, men listen. Grown conversation, always productive, and we here to gain comprehension behind our conversation. It's not about it being back and forth, but to gain comprehension from the opposite sex. So, with that being said, anybody like to open up, or y'all want me to open up?
You do it.
Oh man, y'all sure y'all want me to do it? I'll open it up. You know what I mean? So, this is a good question. How long should you keep your finances a secret in a relationship?
Um, for me, I think you need to be pretty serious and know y'all are both tracking to be together long term and not just in a relationship, right? Just dating. If we really move and that we trying to come together, then you do have to have some discussion. I think if you've been creating open lines of communication along the way, there's nothing to fear about it. It's like may as well get it on the table. They eventually going to find out anyway if you do this long term ride.
Anybody else on stage? I definitely want to say, from my past experiences, should definitely not be so open with giving out that information. It definitely takes a while for someone to that you should open up, because um you don't want nobody to be with you um for I'm trying to say it in such a nice way. You don't want nobody being with you because they need help, or they looking because what you could do for them. You want somebody to be with you for because they want to be with you, not what they could gain from being with you. If you get what I'm saying. Mm.
But Pilar, I think you're right. I now when you talk about the finances, I think you maybe peel a layer at a time. I don't think you just pull out all your books of whatever you got and put it all on the table right at that moment. I think you have layers, just like it took layers to decide to grow and be together. That you share pieces of information at a time, right? Let's peel back and see kind of how we're both revealing and how we literally feel about when you really start revealing to each other. Because I think that becomes a major shift in the relationship. It takes some trust and to move it to that next level. So, I think you take a step at a time and see how each person feels about what they're having to reveal. I'm seeing, I'm done speaking.
For me, if I'm dating someone for 6 months, they're not going to know about my finances. If I'm dating them a year, maybe, but not even. If I'm deciding to marry them, then we can sit down and have that discussion and have a real talk about it, because I just find that people can be very opportunistic. And once they know that you've got great credit and that you dress a certain way, you carry yourself a certain way, to me, they become gold diggers. I don't care, men or women. And it just happened to me recently. This guy was like, wow, you have really nice stuff. And yeah, oh, you have a Poshmark shop? Oh, and you do this on the side? What's your credit score? None of your business, sir. It's none of your business. What's your credit score?
That's definitely that definitely leads into my next question, though. But um, when are we asking these people about their credit score? Does credit score doesn't matter to y'all? That's definitely a good question. That leads right into my other question.
You
Does
know,
somebody have bad credit? Is that a red flag to y'all? Like this, I need to know because it's damn sure a red flag to me. You don't got good credit. That means you don't know how to handle your business. You might miss a payment.
Yeah, it shows me that you are fiscally irresponsible with yourself and that you're not going to be responsible with me, period. I'm
I
not saying
wouldn't.
you can't I'm not saying you can't repair your credit, but if you're not even talking about repairing it, we don't have a future together. I'm sorry, because credit is king no matter where you go, unless you're a millionaire.
I wouldn't choose someone in a bad sense to have bad credit. Based on how they do things, I might watch that and then understand why they probably do have bad credit. But I've been with people in the past who their brother and sister had their social and went and took out a vehicle in their name and didn't tell them anything. Took out a car in their name and didn't tell them anything. And that's the reason why they had bad credit. So based on the circumstances as to why you had bad credit, I would more look at that. But not off the top because you have bad credit. I'm gonna just say, okay, well, I can't rock with you. I gotta find out how you ended up in this situation, and based on that, I'll make my decision.
I agree with both of you, and it is a process, and it depends on the circumstances. I was thinking about how people, especially if someone's divorced, sometimes stranger things happen when it comes to when everything gets separated and what is created. So I do think you have to look at the unique individual, and as women, observe, see how the person is moving, because oftentimes when they have really bad credit, it shows up in other ways in their life, in their decision making, the things that you hear them doing. And I can remember a friend of mine talking about a woman that he was dating, and she was taking vacations using her credit card, but that was the only way she could go. She couldn't go any other way except to put it on her credit card. And so for him, that was, it didn't match with his sense of fiscal responsibility. So you know how you like to move, and I think you pay attention to those things.
Yeah, it happened. The reason why, because it happened. Now that I think, I just remember it happened to me, and you wouldn't believe the amount that it was. It was $280 Verizon. I was married, got a divorce. Okay, she was paying the bill. There was a cable bill, internet cable bill. I had to charge off all my credit for $280. I had no idea. I didn't even know that was on my credit. So, but it is what it is, things happen.
Definitely. So with that being said, I'm opening it up to anybody else. If anybody else got a question or you want me to throw another one in there, it's on y'all.
Pilar, what do you think about prenup? What does everybody think about someone you date asks you to sign a prenup?
I think that's the best thing that could happen. I'm a full believer as what you have earned and what you come in with is what you should leave with. I don't believe in um that that thing that goes on, women go into the marriage or the relationship and they're leaving with half. I'm fully not a believer of that. I think, what you came in is what you should leave with. And I know other people is gonna differ because of the kids and all the stuff that goes in with it. But yeah, I believe what you came in with is what you should leave with. So I'm a full believer of that.
So before we dive into that question, let's welcome the new people to the stage. Damon, Jamisha, SJ, Lucretia. Welcome to Dating for Entrepreneurs. I wanted to know if you guys wanted to answer the last question about credit. What are your thoughts on it?
Ooh, hello. Thank you for having me here. With regards to credit, for sure, I would want to consider not just what caused you to be in this position, but what are you actually doing to fix your credit? Because there are ways you could actually try and find yourself out of that messy situation. Because I can be considerate enough to consider like the fact that the pandemic happened and some people ended up in this situation because of that. But it's a matter of what are you now doing to remedy the situation. If you're just chilling and coasting and praying it goes away, then that's not good enough for me. But if it's a situation where you're actually working to change that, then that's good. But ideally, if you're just in a space where your credit is not good and you don't care about it, miss me with that. I'm good. I would really rather just not deal with that because having been in a situation where my credit was a little bit messed up and I turned that around within like a year, I know it's possible. So yeah, that's just my view on that.
Thank you, SJ. I'll also add that, if you're the man and you're the leader, I'm going to expect you to have good credit because if we're going to move forward with goals of purchasing homes and cars and things of that nature, I expect your credit to be top rate because how else are we going to be in a partnership moving together and you want me to lead because I have good credit? No, we're not going to do anything based on my credit only. So it's a partnership.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Miss. How are you? Hi, everybody in the room.
Hiya.
So in response to the credit, I heard when I came in, I'm not sure, I think it was King that was speaking, and he was saying that, it would depend on the circumstance of why your credit is the way it is. So the answer is gonna work for me as well. And the reason is because, like, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
SJ.
SJ. I like that, SJ. Like SJ said, it doesn't take that long to fix it as long as you know like the steps, So I think sometimes we get too fixated on, maybe like the wrong things. Not saying that credit is not important, it's definitely important, but you definitely have to have a willingness as well. Like it can't just be coasting. Somebody said that coasting, just moving through life like it ain't nothing. You have to have some form of willingness to work through it and work it out, and I can assist you and we can help each other win. That's how I see it for the credit topic.
What if they have no credit?
What do you mean? Like, I don't know. I've never actually had to consider that before. Like no credit.
like 500, like negative 500 for.
What?
I'm talking about that under 600 kind of credit.
No, that's not what I mean. Some people don't believe in credit cards, so they don't have a credit footprint.
Okay. Hey, everyone. How y'all doing?
What's going on, Queen? How you doing, Queen?
I'm all right. So I want to kind of answer Coco's question. So I was one of those people at one point that did not have any credit for a long time. I was also never taught anything about credit and credit card. So as I got older, I just tried to make the best decision for me when it came to credit card. And I actually didn't get my first credit. Like I'm 35. I didn't get my first credit card till maybe like 3-4 years ago. But one of the reasons why I never messed with credit cards is because a lot of my peers, a lot of my family members, and things like that, I've seen everybody. A lot of people I knew, they got in debt. They got in debt really, really fast, messing around with credit cards. So for me, I always paid cash with everything. You know what I'm saying? I would see people finance things and do things like that. I fully just did not understand how important credit was. And as I got older, I started, tried to learn more about it, educate myself about it, like with credit. And it happened like when I would try to apply, like I would be like and say, I don't know, JC Penney. And you know how you get the advertisements, oh, credit card. So I thought try to, I did it like a couple of times, at JCPenney. I think I did it another time at like a gas station or something like that. I kept getting like my credit card stuff was negative. They kept saying my credit score was like negative. I'm like, how the hell my credit? I didn't understand why it was negative because I didn't have any credit card and I didn't have any debt. Everything I got, I always paid for it cash. Like I'll get a car, I would pay for it cash. And pay my cars off, whatever. I furniture, whatever. I always paid everything off cash because I never wanted to have any debt. That's how I looked at it. But as I got older, I started understanding the credit and how you can use it and it can be beneficial. And still to this day, I've only had 2 credit cards, and even with those, I always made sure they was a low balance. And just to reference to the question earlier, I don't think it's bad getting with somebody that has bad credit because somebody's circumstances could be just like mine. Like I was pretty good with money. I was just never taught the importance of credit. So I didn't use it. I just paid cash because my theory is less bills means less stress. You see what I'm saying? So as I got older, I tried to, utilize the whole credit card thing. But I've never been in any major debt, no foreclosures, no bankruptcy, no school loans, and the few, I think one loan I did have to school, I paid it back. So I don't know what it's like for people when people say they had credit card debt, they in debt. I don't know what that is because I pay for everything I pay it off.
All right. With that being said, somebody said that how a partner spends and save matters as well. How y'all feel about that?
Absolutely. I don't like cheap men and stingy men. That's not going to work for me. I'm not saying I'm going to dig deep into your pockets and take everything out, but you must be, generous to a degree. And then the one that's a spendthrift, I have to wonder why he spends the way he does, because sometimes when we're spending a lot on stuff, we're masking something else that's going on deeper in our lives when we overspend like that. Always trying to keep up with the Joneses, always trying to impress this person and that person. So I have to wonder about that. So there's 2 extremes where that's concerned.
So I have a question kind of answer to that. What about what about the man who doesn't necessarily spend, like, I would say, like, spend money, but in a way it's still spending money. So this is an example. What about the man who likes to spend a lot of time with you, quality time with you, or likes to, cook for you, just do things with you that doesn't necessarily take a lot of money, but then again it does because time is also currency, you know. So, cooking is a love language, just different things like that. What about that?
Definitely.
What about that?
Before we even get into that, let me just welcome Zell, Tawanda, Zell, Lala, and Lonnie to the stage. What's going on, kings and queens?
Hello, how are you?
All right, thank you, Lala. Let
Hello.
me hear
Well,
your voice, Lala.
hey,
What's going on, Lonnie? All right, you gotta get that fixed up, Lonnie. From early. Zell, you there,
Yes,
Zell?
sir.
Oh, you good? You good? You good tonight, Lonnie? Zell, you there, Zell?
Hello, I'm here.
What's going on, Queen? All right, so how y'all feel about Jamisha's question? Y'all could jump into it. Go ahead, Priscilla.
I
Um,
just clarity, Jamisha, on the question. What do you feel about what?
The type of men who are like Coco mentioned, like stingy men. And so, like, what is the definition of that? Because then there's like men who they don't necessarily like to, be all out and, maybe taking you out to dinner or buying you a bunch of things, but they'll spend time with you. Maybe they don't have as much money as you have, they don't make as much, but then they make kind of do with what they have, like, what about those types of men?
Talking about
Yeah,
the
totally understand. I definitely appreciate that. Of course, I mean, everyone's circumstances are different, and I would definitely appreciate, the time. That's just as good, if not sometimes better, in my from my perspective.
I'm going to give some pushback on that because for that man that only wants to come over and Netflix and chill and really not go anywhere or do anything, I'm not having it, because really how you start your relationship is usually how you finish. So if you're the kind of person that's a busybody and you like to do things and go out and do stuff, then that's what you like to do. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's to find that person that you can have the balance with. I'm not a homebody. I'm not staying at home and chilling out at home only. And yeah, I understand people are on a budget. There are things that you can go out and do that don't cost as much as other things. So you just have to find those things that you both like mutually, and that's what you do.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Coco. Me saying time doesn't necessarily mean, of course, sitting at home and Netflix and chilling. Of course, there's a plethora of things that you can be doing for free: picnics, walks along the beach, various different things. So, of course, I'm not the type to want to stay indoors all the time. But yeah, of course.
So,
I agree with Coco.
listen. I'm even walks on the beach and going to the park. All those things they all cost. I don't know if women know how much it costs to date, but it costs a lot to date to step outside that house. You hear me? Um. So basically, y'all are telling me y'all rather yes, there's dinners and these lunches and these big extravagant things, concerts or whatever, instead of just a regular date, at
Pilar.
home when a man is
No,
cooking
we
for
just want
you.
to balance.
Wait,
We got to
wait, 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 wait. And the man is cooking for you, and y'all, a movie on Netflix. So y'all, that's not acceptable for y'all. So you telling me that it has to be a more of a outside doing some kind of thing situation.
Can I
Jamisha,
respond?
yeah,
Or
of course.
says Jay?
I just want to say, Jamisha, when you meant, and that's why I said, what do you mean? Did you mean consistently Netflix and chilling, or those times where, not stressing on the fact that we have to go out to concert, we have to spend all this money on dates?
Okay, thank you, Miss. So yeah, not just Netflix and chilling. So what I mean is, you are going places, you are doing things, but it's not necessarily okay. So it's like, there's different calibers of men, right? So then you have like men that have like a lot of money, and they want you to know they got a lot of money, right? So they'll take you out and they'll do all these things and they'll just throw their money at you, but in reality don't really mean anything. They're taking you out this place, that place. I mean, sometimes it don't work like that because it's like something's not there. Maybe the money is there, but everything is not there that needs to be there. Then you have men, maybe the money's not all the way there like you're used to or something, or maybe not even the way it is in your own personal life as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a high earner, whatever the case may be. But, the personality is there. The person, the love is there. They cook for you. They spend time with you. You go places, out on the beach or picnics, like you said, Miss, things like that, not just sitting in the house, Netflix, chilling, all that. And I just want to say this. I think that kind of social media has like kind of brainwashed people a little bit, women, into having like unrealistic expectations. And not just women, men as well, but I'm a woman, so I speak for women. About like the dating and relationship scene, because everything doesn't need to be out on Front Street, scene and all that. It's like you can really get to know people behind closed doors. And I'm not talking about like sex or anything like that, but just little intimate things like that. Getting with a man who consistently cooks for you. Make sure, you're always fed. Make sure, takes care of you, but doesn't necessarily um go all out extravagant, spending a bunch of money on you, if that makes any sense. Like when I say money, I mean paper, like the money, plastic or paper. Because I think that, wealth and currency is in all shapes and forms.
Well, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I totally agree. However, there's a caveat. From my perspective, and this is just me, this is Zell in the middle, and I have a lifestyle of things that I like to do. And at the very least, I would want a man that can at least pay his stuff. So, for instance, I'm a big college football, college basketball fan. and I have season tickets. So if I can pay my season tickets, and I've had these for the past, 15 years or so. So I would like to think, okay, I got season tickets. I would like, you know, this is a big part of my life. I would like to have somebody that they also, hey, they can at least afford to pay season tickets. If we go to some away games, I'd like somebody that they can go and do that with me too, at least pay for their own stuff. Um, there are things I would hate to, while I love time at home and I can be lazy and I can be at the house and enjoy, inexpensive thing. Everything for me is not always about money, but there are things that I do that are going to cost money. And, then the question would be, do I always have to pay for everything because he's not spending any money? And, so for me, a lot is, I probably would not get involved with a guy where the income gap is too wide. So if I'm dating a guy and he makes, I make, let's say, 3 or 4 times more than he does, it's probably going to be problematic because for me, I want him to at least be able to, step up and keep up, so to speak. I'll land there.
I agree
I
with Sel
definitely
that
understand that. I understand that as a man, because as a man, um, you're not trying to basically have another child. You ain't trying to carry anybody's responsibilities. As they say now, you ain't trying to just pick up and be helped. Um, you want somebody that's on your level, that's definitely gonna make you elevate and balance you out. So I definitely, I'm just talking for myself at where I'm at. I definitely want somebody that could carry themselves and not be looking not looking for help. But we ain't dating for entrepreneurs. But I'm gonna pass it on to anybody that's in the stage. I want to answer any questions. Miss Jackie, Empathy, Stan, Cozart, welcome to the stage as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with Sel on that one. There's certain things that I do now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Queen. Go ahead.
Okay. There's certain things that I do now. Like for instance, I like going to museums. There are things you can do that are not exactly expensive. Um, but it's not about the money because I've been in situations where people have dated me and done all these flashy stuff in the very beginning, and they've not been able to keep up with that. I always say, start as you mean to begin. I don't want you to to come and fake it, and then later on, you now pull back, and I'm like, who is this? Do you know what I mean? You don't present something you cannot continue in the future. So we can go for a walk. We can go for a walk by the Thames. We could go to a park. We could grab a coffee on the way. And I think I'll be letting myself down as well if we just sat at home all the time and we cooked because I'm also going to be vetting this person. And I feel like in the process of vetting for me involves you interacting with other people. That way I know how you interact with people, how you talk to a waiter, how you talk to someone who's in the service industry. I would never just look at your money per se, but I just don't want to ever feel like the hobbies and things that I like have to now be put on the back burner because of finances. So, like you said, Pilar, if um, we are too far off in terms of where we are financially, it's going to cause a problem in the long run. Because if you're going to come into my life and say I want to be a provider, and I hate that phrase because I think there's more to relationships than just things you give people. Provision, there's emotional connection too. If you just want to be that provider and you feel bad because I'm doing all these things because you can't be with me and provide, then that's going to cause friction in the long run and conflict. So I'd really rather just have balance and let's go for that walk. Let's grab a coffee. I'm cool with it. It's getting to know you that's important for me. I'm done
The
speaking.
thing about it for men, we don't have much success when we say, "Hey, how you doing? Whatever. Let me take you to a coffee date." I know me myself, I haven't, but if I say, let's go to a nice dinner or whatever, which is usually the case or the matter of the fact, you definitely get more success with that. But that leads to, are we leading with money or are we leading with character? You get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm here. I'm trying to get clarity from the queens because I want to know how many of y'all were actually really no cap it on the app before we get these answers. really and truly somebody offer you to a coffee date, are you really up for a coffee date?
These are things I've
Oh,
never
but
tried.
I think the majority of dates, quote unquote dates, that I've been asked out has initially started with a coffee date as something that kind of, and then you kind of move into the dinner and the other stuff. So I think I'm not sure whether that's a UK thing or America, the difference. I'm not sure. But that's how it usually works.
It,
My
it's
experience.
different here in America, Queen. It's definitely different here. I know y'all love your cup of tea. I know you love a cup of tea, but no, over here or like that. So I understand how it could be like that over in the UK.
It's funny you should say that. Well, ask that, Miss Priscilla, because another friend of mine on this app, and we're both from the UK, and we found these differences because we were just in a room just now where somebody said they don't drink coffee, and I said, well, there's juice, there's water, there's strawberries, there's organic, whatnot. There's so many things at a coffee shop. It's not just coffee. And so in my mind, I'm like, wait, in the UK, I'd really rather a coffee date first or something small. Why? Because I don't even know if I like you. I want to be able to escape easily. I don't want to sit there and deal with you for hours. What am I doing? I have things to do. Nobody has time. So let's not go and do this whole big extravagant thing. You waste your money and then you feel like I'm obligated to now go on a second date with you because you went to freaking Roca or Gaucho or somewhere expensive. No, no, no. Let's just go on a coffee date and that's okay. I've gone on a walk and literally just grabbed some food and just came and walked down to the park and just sat down and chatted. That was easy for day one. Like, and if you're just doing it just to reel me in and floss, do this big extravagant pretentious thing, then I don't even know if that's the person for me. Because you're trying to show me a representative rather than who you actually are and something you can sustain long run. But I'm not gonna take over the stage, guys. I'm gonna stop now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther, and welcome.
Thank you.
Well,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm one that I agree with Miss that you have a coffee dates never bothered me. I hear that it's like this huge thing now to not do a coffee date, but it's for the same reason, right? I don't want to be held hostage for dinner if we don't have a connection, if we don't at least have decent conversation. We may not have forever after conversation, but I need to at least enjoy our time we spend together. So, I mean, if you take me to dinner, that's great. But if we both agree for coffee dates, but what I will share, just a quick little anecdote, I'm in a long term relationship, but when I was out actively dating and I had done some online dating, guys started trying to use their exit strategy, right, by doing the coffee date, but saying, they were trying to manage the woman's expectation. And unfortunately, in this case, for them, what they underestimated is that there are some women out there who show their real pictures, their current pictures. So when they meet you, they're quite surprised, like, oh, well, we can go get lunch. I'm like, no, thank you. Because see, that tells me kind of about kind of where you are. Once you saw me face to face, you made a different decision. And so for me, that was always kind of a turnoff. So, but I'm done speaking.
Thank you, C. So with that being said, before we get into anybody else on the stage, or if we're gonna ask another question, I just want to say good night to all. I want to thank everybody for being sharing the space with us. We're here in Dane for Entrepreneurs, as we are every Tuesday and Wednesday night from 8 to 10 o'clock. Tonight is Women Talk, Men Listen. Well, most of the time is we just let the women ask the question and the kings answer the question. But we switched it up a little bit, put a little spin on it where we could go have a little good dialogue back and forth. And sometimes some of the men ask some questions. So I want to thank everybody for sharing the space. Y'all know this Dane for Entrepreneurs. We're on all platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also on the Clubhouse. Definitely with five plus K followers. So thank everybody for sharing the space. So with that being said, anybody else got any questions? Or let me get back to my moderators. Coco, Priscilla, y'all got anything before I pass it back to the stage?
Not as yet. Thanks.
Coco?
I'm in the back channel. No, thank you. Not right now.
All right, thank you. So with that being said, anybody else on the stage, if you have a question, now's the time to do so. Queens? It's y'all night.
Well, let me say thank you for allowing me on the stage, Coco, Miss. Thank you so much. I've been listening to the dialogue, and it's very interesting. And I think that SJ said something that is key because it's one of the things by which I live my life, and it's balance. I think everything is balance in everything you do, whether dating, your entrepreneurial endeavors, just life in general. The key is just to try to bring balance. And what may be balanced for me may not be balanced for somebody else. And I think that distinction for every individual is absolutely key. You know, I listen, I go in these rooms and I listen, and you can take a little bit of everything, kind of like a gumbo, put it all in one pot. One thing is not necessarily wrong and the others are right, and one thing is not necessarily right and the others are wrong. But it's a collaborative effort of ideas that help us to create a roadmap by which we live this life. And to all the queens in the room, you know, thank you for the insights. And I think for us as kings, as we listen, we gather information and we learn in this dating game, in this space, where we're trying to build healthy relationships, whether dating relationships, entrepreneurial relationships, psychological relationships, whatever it might be. My name is Damon, and I'll land right there. Thank you, Pilar.
Appreciate you, King. With that being said, anybody else have any questions? Miss Maya, Miss Oracle, Miss Jackie, what's going on, Queens? Hear y'all voices real quick.
Just stopped in to say hey. You know, it's been a while. Missed you. Just got in here, but hate I missed it. But I'm sure it was a good topic. I'm gonna catch the replay.
It's definitely a great dialogue as always we're having. Um,
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I guess this question is really for the men specifically. Does it bother you guys if you are with a woman or dating a woman and you see her spending what you would consider large amounts of money on certain things? She can afford it. It's not a strain on her. She's not just, extravagant, but I don't know, let's say she spent $5,000 on a sofa. Would y'all look at that and think, she's not good with money, or that's a bad, how would you view that? How would y'all take that to see someone that basically is living at a higher level from a financial standpoint than maybe you are?
Basically, how do we look at dating someone that's more financially um what's the last word? More financially stable than we are, basically. Um I'm waiting for the day. Look at me, Zell. I wish you was on the stream. I'm waiting on praying on a lucky star. I never really experienced that situation, but I wish I would love to see how that would play out. For me to just kick my feet up and sit back and see, because as we always say, the person who makes the
Alright.
most. Wait, 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 wait. They said the person who makes the most, really, should be paying the most. I'm waiting on a lucky star. I don't know if any of the other guys on the stage, but I'm here praying on a lucky star. I'll meet a woman that make more money than me. You hear me?
So can I just add to that? I work for a couple of attorneys, and I just heard one of the attorneys make a remark about how he wishes for the day that he can retire and his wife take care of him like the other partner who just retired, wife take care of him. So basically, she's like one of the top human resources people at like our energy company here in North Carolina. And so the attorney didn't make as much as she did. So he decided he wanted to retire and play golf all day and every day. And I mean, he comes in the office from time to time. But I guess my whole point is that I don't think other ethnicities may even have a problem with that when they get to a certain level. you talking about two attorneys who do pretty well for themselves, and one just retired. So his wife, who is pretty high up in the food chain, in terms of corporate America, is like pretty much funding his golf lifestyle. And he's okay with that. He doesn't feel emasculated. He's fine with it. So I think that there's something, I think that maybe we as brown people probably have more of a problem with it than other cultures. And I'll just leave it there.
Ms. Zell, to answer your question, I would say no. If they, I think everybody has that thing that they enjoy spending money on. And if it's a cell phone or her shoes, like me personally, it's books. Books are the things that I spend money on. So everybody has their thing. So I would say from the male perspective, the answer is no for some, and I can't speak for all. The answer is no. If that's what she wants to do, and if she has a sustainable lifestyle by which she can do that, and just call me on the cell phone once you get that. When you get that $5,000 cell phone, just call me anytime.
That's what I'm saying. I'm waiting. You hear me? I'm waiting patiently.
I wonder what it sounds like. $5,000.
No, it wasn't. No, the reason I asked this question is because a friend of mine, he actually broke up with his girlfriend. She's a lawyer. He is a college counselor. So he's the a counselor that when you're in college you go and they help you with your classes. And she found now she doesn't have kids. She's an attorney, as a matter of fact. And she lives by herself and stuff. And she found this sofa she fell in love with, but it was like $5,000. He was like, that's just too much for a sofa. He didn't care, whether she could afford it or not. She paid cash for it. I mean, she just swiped it, and he just thought this is ridiculous. And he just, he was like, no. And they ended up breaking up behind that. And I just thought, really? I just didn't. It made no sense to me.
There may be a core. See, that sounds like a core value difference, right? That even though she could afford it, his core values didn't align with hers. And that's the stuff you got to watch when you're dating, because that's the stuff that shows up after you say, I do. That if you haven't uncovered to figure out, at the end of the day, forget how much money we have, but how we value and want to order our life. Is it similar? Is it compatible in that regard? Because it just won't work. And so, really, he saved her. She dodged the bullet from the standpoint of both of them continuing to fight and being frustrated. Now, if they get back together, then that's a key that they've got to have a discussion around. There's something in his background that's driving why he doesn't, he can't view that $5,000 sofa being worth it if it's something she wanted and can afford. Some people can't get past it. Sometimes it's a growth opportunity in a relationship, because if you really talk about that situation, you may uncover and peel back another layer of the person so that you can really understand how they operate, how they tick, and how they think. I'm seeing them done.
I just want to chime in real quick. To me, it kind of matters because I met a guy a couple months back, and make sure he's not in the room. Couple months back.
Do the scan, Coco. Do the scan.
And we would talk, and he would, when I first saw his photos, he was wearing Alexander McQueen, Yves Saint Laurent, Givenchy, and then we did a video call, and my mouth just dropped open like the emoji on your phone with the yellow head with the hands up. I was like, oh my gosh, she's missing teeth. So you are out here in these streets with 5 pairs of Alexander McQueen sneakers that are $700 each, and you ain't got no teeth? I don't think so.
Yo, Coco.
Wow.
This is the realest thing I've heard in a while. Oh my
It's
God.
true. They do
is
that.
that is stressful. You know what you were saying?
unfortunately, I know a couple who are in this predicament and they're married. So basically, he wants to be seen as the provider all the time. Like he's the one who's meant to pay for anything for his wife. So for her birthday, she asked for a certain pair of Louboutins. And so he purchased them and got them for her. But obviously, her money is her money and his money is their money. So then she thought, "Oh, you know what? Let me get the Aritzas as well." So she wanted to buy herself another pair for her birthday gift to herself. She bought these Louboutins and he was angry and he told her she needed to return them because it's going to look like he doesn't provide for his wife. And I try to explain to this man that it's not that deep, but obviously that came from somewhere else and he just was not going to have a discussion about it. And the poor lady could not buy her own shoes. So yeah, I know that struggle. I've heard of it. Hopefully I'll never be in that predicament and nobody else on this stage would be. But yeah, some people are like that.
I would love to hear insight from the man. Oh, Lonnie, I see you off mic. You need to be quiet.
I'm just here listening. Y'all got me cutting up over here. I'm just listening to y'all. I'm just listening. I definitely need a king to come back and fight back for us right now.
I think Lonnie is going to say something. You ready, Lonnie?
Yes, ma'am. For me, I have these talks a lot with friends, while we're out at the cigar lounge, just chilling. And, I tell them, like, what if a woman makes more money than you do, whatever money's out of that account to pay for whatever, it doesn't know the difference. You can't figure out you can't distinguish which dollar is yours, which dollar is theirs. For me, I'm just a cheap guy. And it just goes back to me growing up. I want to harbor on to everything that I make. Now I do have certain things that I spend money on, which is food, because I'm a huge foodie, and running events. Now, beyond that, I won't spend a dime. Now, when it comes to my kids, or if I'm with a woman, I don't have a problem. But I don't think that, if a woman is spending $5,000 or $8,000 on a couch, or $2,000 on a purse, I'm cool with that. That's she's just living her best life. As long as I'll take note and monitor how she spends, in the sense that, if she starts to struggle, I'm gonna say something to her and let her know. I'm like, maybe you should do this time. But ultimately, no. I mean, if she's got it, go ahead and spend it. Everybody
My son says, spend it. Let her spend it. That's right.
Yeah. Because, I mean, when you're gone, you ain't gonna be able to spend it no more. You're gonna be on your deathbed thinking about the things you should have done, and you shouldn't be doing that.
Especially if she's earned the money herself. I mean, come on, right?
I don't.
She can manage her money. It's not going to bother me, but the moment that she starts to struggle, I'm going to step in and mention it, try to talk to her about it. And if she wants to talk about it, that's cool. If she doesn't, then I'm going to have a problem, because if she's not, I'm not going to want to see her struggle. I'm going to try to support her in any possible way.
Yeah, I just don't think that a woman making more money than the man is for everybody. That you really got to be a headstrong man, and really be a true team player, because it could really build a lot of resentment, if you get what I'm saying. And then you also put a lot. I feel like one party will put a lot of pressure on the other party. That's what I feel. Will come out of that situation. You got to really be happy, and you tell when somebody's really happy for you. You know what I'm saying? When they're happy for you, they're into the things that you're doing and more want to be an asset more than anything. So you really
Well,
have to be headstrong, and it's not for everybody. It's really not for every man. I mean, that a woman is making more money than them, that they could really handle it without building resentment or putting pressure onto the person. So with that being said, I'm passing it back to y'all.
well, let's talk about it. Let's ask the fellas on the stage. How many of you guys would feel comfortable with your woman earning a significant amount more than you do?
Hi everybody. This is Will. I can chime in on that. I believe not only that it takes a man with headstrong, but headstrong it has a lot of definition in terms of being secure um and being a leader, because that doesn't take away from the fact that you're a leader, because being a leader has nothing to do with how much money you make, but it has a lot to do with how much money you keep, right? Because I can make 100,000, or I can make 40,000, and she make 100,000, and I still keep a lot more, right, than what I spend. So I think it has to do with being a leader, um, and having a mission. So here's what I said, and as a person, of course, that's been married twice, I've got a lot to learn, obviously. But here's my thinking, and I could be wrong, right? But and I'm hoping that I'm wrong, because that gives me the opportunity to learn. Here's what I said. I said my next relationship, we're gonna have full accounts. We're gonna have each of us gonna have our own respective account. Then we're gonna have an account where we pour all the money for all the bills, right? Everything that has to do with the bills and car and payment, mortgage, and so on and so forth. And then we're gonna have another account where it's for the things that we want to do, like vacation and so on and so forth. Because the reason why I said it's important that we each have our own account is because I don't want to be looking into every time that I buy something, or if I want to make her a surprise, then she's gonna see that I bought something for her. And also, at the end of the day, I still have my own life. And too often when we get into relationship, a serious relationship, being married or building a family together, we tend to kind of dim our light as if we no longer exist, which I think is a major, major mistake. Because just because you're in a relationship or you're married doesn't mean your life ends. As a matter of fact, there's a new life that begins, which is the union life, but you still have your own life. So for me, yes, I have my ego. A man wants to make more money, but I'll be fine. I mean, I'm no longer want to have kids, but if I were to have kids and then just say, hey, can you stay home, take care of the kids while I go to work? I wouldn't mind, because at the end of the day, we're a team, and being a team player is knowing how to play your position, because you have never seen a great team that you have everybody playing any type of position all over the place. No matter how great of a team player you are, if you're not playing your respective position, then you're not helping out the team. So it's knowing your position in terms of what needs to be done. So I believe that a man and a woman both can be leaders, because there are things that I'm good at, and she may not, and there are things that she's good at. She's gonna take the lead, and I have no problem with that. So if that means she's gonna make more money because of her education, or because she's very ambitious, or because opportunity open up for her, then that's great. Because at the end of the day, we're both winning, right? So that's my take on that, and that's always it's always been my thinking. It never bothers me, and of course, I've never been with a woman that makes more money than me. So then that's remains to be seen, because it's one thing to say something, but it's quite another when you actually live it. But anyway, that's my take on that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'm out.
Thank you very much, Vaughn. I was going to say that, there might be a different story when you actually live it. an experience that you might be changing your tune. But yeah, thank you so much for that.
Would
Not
that be,
many men can handle that. That's my point. Not many men can handle that. Most men can't really handle that, from what I've experienced or what I've seen or heard.
True.
I think
And a
Miss
lot of men think they can, and in reality, they
I think Miss Jackie
Will,
been
you
trying to
got
get in there. Miss Jackie, you been trying to get in there?
Yeah, go ahead, Jackie. Will, you lit up the chat. Thank you for that.
I'm just agreeing with a lot. It is different. We can say all that we can say. It is so different in when you're actually in it with. I've never been with a man who's made more than me, so it's and it was a big thing. And I just hope that I've never made him feel some type of way. And I've never held it over a man or emasculated him or whatever. I just felt just like what you said, Will. We're a team. I'm bringing it home. What's the problem? But to me, from my experience, it was the secure. If that the person who I was with, I realized the common thread, they were not secure in who they were, period. And no matter what I did, could bring that security. And that was the wrong thing that I did, because I admit that I lost myself, and it was their job to make themselves secure. So to me, that's the most basic thing. It is not for every man, and a man has to really, really know himself and be secure in that.
Can I just add one more thing? Let me. I'm gonna be honest here. 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't talk. I probably wouldn't say what I just said 2 years ago, because I didn't know myself. I didn't know my worth, and I thought that my worth was tied into how much money I can make, my status, the accolades, and the pedigrees, and all that kind of stuff. And life has stripped everything that I had. My business, my marriage, it stripped me down to the man that I am, and realized all those things that I had didn't make me who I am, right? Because there's those things that I have, and there's who I am. And I came to realize that not only that I can get all the things that I've had before, but those things don't make me who I am. Because you can take all those things away from me, but at the end of the day, my character, my reputation, who I am, as far as what I stand for, my values, and all that kind of stuff. So I can honestly say 2 years ago, even if I did say that, I probably wouldn't be able to handle it. But now that I've gone through the healing process, now that I've gone to the point where I have to deal with my childhood trauma, my adult trauma, knowing who I am, now that I'm living instead of existing, doing the work, I can honestly say that if it's just a 1% man that can handle that, I believe I'm in the top 1% of the 1%, without a shadow of a doubt. Not talking about, from an arrogant, because I'm being arrogant, or I'm being cocky, this and that, because I know that the work that I've been doing and the work that I'm going to continue to do, that does not define or belittle or take away my power, my manhood as a man. Because money and accolades and pedigrees don't make a man. Because if it did, then there are a lot of things that are happening, quote unquote, men with power wouldn't happen. So I just want to put that out there. And what I said, and I stand by it. Yes, I can. And if it comes down to it, I can do it without a shadow of a doubt. I'm willing, I'm complete.
That man came in powerful. You hear me? My man said, yes, I can. Listen, I know I can. You feel me? I'm just waiting for her. Wherever she at, listen. Pilar's waiting for you, baby. You hear me? Come make more money than me. I'm here. I'll sit right back. I cook, clean, and do what y'all say. I will
have a
cook,
question.
clean, take the kids to school and all that. Yeah, go make the money, baby.
I don't think that will last long for that. I think that ego will get hit.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So specifically to Jackie, right, who has only ever, been with people that she's made more money than, right? Has there ever been a situation where you're grinding, you're working so hard, and they become complacent and just think, well, she takes care of everything, so why do I have to, open that business that I thought about or do this extra work? Because that's something I've experienced where, you just chill now and say, well, I'm a kept man, so why bother?
That's a lazy man. Sorry.
Ooh.
He's never had any ambition. He's never been driven. He was put in the front just to get with you. That's a lazy man. That ain't no man.
Definitely sounds like a lazy man. I agree, Will. I agree.
Yeah, giving men titles now tonight. This is lazy man.
That's the lazy man. The next one.
Jackie.
I feel the thing that I've noticed, if a woman or a person continues to evolve, it's not going to work with a person who doesn't continue to evolve. It may not be at the rate at where their person is not evolving. And I kid you not, I had this guy sit me down and he saw my marriage and he said, "You're going to end in divorce. You're evolving and your husband's not, is not. And it's going to be a problem." And I kid you not, it became a problem. If one person continues to grow and has that hunger, that passion to grow and evolve in every aspect of that life in their lives, and that person doesn't, it will be a problem. And that's the main thing that I look for, or that's the main thing that I look at is, are you trying to improve yourself? Now, it's not a competition between us, but are you trying to just do better with yourself in whatever aspect of your life? And I'm Jackie, and I land my plane.
You know, I can dig that, Jackie.
Go ahead, Lonnie.
Yeah, I can dig that. It's like, a lady that I dated once, I had told her that, I'm constant. She asked me what my drive was, and I said, because I've been poor, and I've had a car repoed, I've had my utilities cut off, I've been evicted, and these were all choices that I made, taking that money and putting it into a business that I was trying to start up. And I was like, I wanted something better for myself. And I wanted to improve my life so that when I have kids, I can live through their eyes. I can live my childhood through their eyes. And I was like, no matter what happens in our relationship, I've got to see some sort of improvement from you. I want to see you grow as a person. You don't have to go and start your own business. You can be content and happy with where you are in your workplace. But mentally, I want to see growth. So I can really dig on that. It doesn't have to be a financial growth for me. At least for me, if you can grow that, yeah, that's still some dope shit. And that's about it.
Ow!
Here's what I've noticed, and I think one of the common mistake that men and women alike make is that too often we date someone based on their potential, which is there's nothing wrong with that, because well, what you do want to do, you want to date someone of your future self, because you're gonna be evolving, and as you evolve, do you see yourself with that person, and is that person also have the ability and the willingness to evolve? May not be the same way that you evolving, because everybody is going at their own pace. But as long as there's evolution that's being done, and we're not being complacent in this relationship, and everybody wants to see everybody doing good, I think there's hope. But also, when we meet someone, what are you seeing in that person? As I'm working with young men, particularly young men, I say you should not get involved sexually with a woman if you don't foresee this woman being a mother of your child, right? Because if something happened, do you see this woman being the mother of your child? And I think that also can also be applied, as an adult, to see who we are dating. And if you are dating people that seems to have the same type of character, the same type of mindset, maybe you ought to change the environment or the dating pool that you're being surrounding yourself with. Or maybe it's something that you have to look inward to say, why am I attracting these type of people in my life? Maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. So then again, we have to do this deep inner work because life as we know is already hard, try to figure out life. Now you're adding another person into the mix. It can create chaos. So it's much better to do the work while you're being single. Enjoy the process you're in. If you're married, improve your marriage. But if you're single, don't rush into a relationship because you felt like you're missing out, or for the sake of being lonely. I mean, there's a lot of things that we are doing because we're so caught up in whether the time is running out. Am I gonna find somebody? Am I gonna get married? Am I gonna have kids? And we totally kind of forget the bigger picture. And I think it's really take the time and get to know ourselves, which is what I'm doing, which is what everybody should be doing. Know yourself, because you cannot present yourself.
Can you summarize it in 30 seconds on us, please?
Yeah. So all I'm trying to say is that you cannot tell someone who you are if you don't know who you are. Know who you are so you can present yourself in the best way possible. I mean, I'm complete.
All right. With that being said, we are in Danger for Entrepreneurs. We got about 40-something minutes left. This is where women talk, men listen. Well, basically, we just have great conversation. Not to go back and forth, but to get comprehension from the opposite sex and get the answers that we've been looking for. And with that being said, I got Miss Coco and I got Miss Priscilla. Y'all got anything that y'all want to say before we get back into this conversation?
Not as yet. I'm good, thanks.
All right. Make sure y'all
I'm good.
follow. Oh, you good? All right. So make sure y'all follow us on all platforms. We are on Clubhouse, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We also live streaming right now on the podcast on YouTube and Facebook. So y'all tap in with us. And definitely got a lot of content that's gonna be coming towards y'all. With that being said, anybody else have a question? Because I do got another question. If y'all don't,
I've got a question. By the way, Raphael here, and I'm I don't know. I'm very new to Clubhouse and talking out loud on anything, but yeah, I definitely have a question. I heard you guys speak for a little bit. My question basically is, does anybody have any specifics here when we're talking about this? Because I feel like it can be pretty relative. You keep talking about if a woman's making more than a man, if a woman's making more than a man, but maybe somebody could throw in some specifics, because I've got a couple, I don't know, theories going around in my head. But I say that meaning we keep saying more money, more money. Well, what are we talking about? What exact, like, are we talking about a woman who makes $150,000 a year and a man who makes 50? Because I feel like
Yes,
this
at a
hasn't been
minimum.
said in this conversation, but I think it's relatively capped. And so I think if you go beyond that cap and start imagining it beyond that cap, I think it's like a good mind fuck, excuse my language, for what's actually driving it at the end of the day. Like, you know, if you look at somebody's making $5 million a year and his woman's making $7 million a year, and you're like, oh my God, that's 40% more. What's going on? Yeah, but if most of that money's getting reinvested back into this or that, and they have the same mentalities, then it might not be as crazy of a deal as somebody, you know, making 100 grand a year and somebody making 60, right? Like, it is different, but just, yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Rafael. I think hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correct. Am I, Rafael? I think it's more of the concept of just, you know, can a man handle, regardless of how much more it is, but can a man, coming from a psychological thing, can a man handle a woman making more than him? And I think it kind of boils down to just programming of men and how they're built and what they're programmed to do and think. Yeah, just in terms of my experience and hearing men talk, it's just not. It's a rare thing that a man can actually handle a woman making more, regardless of how much more. But just the concept of them doing more, I think it's the perception of them achieving more than them, or I don't know. I mean, this is why we're here, to ask you guys and
Okay.
and get your perspectives on things.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel it's, and just in your opinion, do you feel it's more rare than a woman being attracted to a man that makes less than her?
No, because I think that also is a thing. I think it's hard for a woman as well to see. I know for me, I would prefer my man to make more than me. So I think that answers your question. Does it answer your question?
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
was
equal.
just comparing, because at that point it gets extremely rare, right? Like the way you described it is like there's two humps to overcome. The woman has to be attracted to the man who makes less than her, which is rare in your opinion. And then the man has to be willing to be able to tolerate that in the relationship without feeling demasculated on a psychological level, I think. So if you add them both together, it's like extremely rare, from what I gathered, you said.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sure there's matches out there. But yeah, I think it's an equal thing. I mean, this is what we're here to do: discuss and see and find out. Is it an equal thing? Is it something that, you know, how many of you guys? I mean, so far it's, you know, Will's definitely said that he can handle it, even though he's not experienced it, and of course he's aware that it's one thing to walk the path and to know the path, but then to walk it as well. But Pilar says that he can handle it. I don't know how true that is, though.
I'm just waiting. I'm just here wishing on a lucky star. You hear me? Please
doubt it, Pilar.
listen, Queen, wherever you
You're an
at,
alpha.
that you're making more money than me and you more established. I'm waiting for you. I want to kick my feet up. Like I said, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna cook and clean, and I'm gonna take the kids to school. Let me see how y'all like it.
And wear the kitchen apron as well. Yeah.
Absolutely, gonna say Pilar on it too.
But you know, I was going to say the thing that I'm actually appreciating about this room right now is that, because I'm actually similar to Jackie. I've never dated a guy that makes more than I do, and I don't even worry about it. It doesn't bother me now. Usually, the bigger issue I have had is with my previous spouse, constantly trying to prove that, hey, you know, I don't care that you make less. It doesn't matter. As at one point, I didn't even carry a debit or credit card. He handled everything, just trying to make him okay and show him that I didn't care about the money. It wasn't a big deal for me. But for him, it was, and to his friends that would always, well, why aren't you doing more? And that kind of thing. But I'm really glad about this room because it makes it positive that a woman is doing more. Because most of the time when I hear these other rooms, they seem so negative, and they talk as if, oh, if a woman makes more, she's going to treat you like crap, and she's going to be like this, and she's going to talk down to you. And I'm thinking, I've never, I wouldn't, why would I, if I actually like you, why would I do that? And I don't know. I see myself being that way. And it makes me feel, some kind of way when I hear people talking in such a negative way if a woman actually makes a decent salary. And I'm talking about over 150, so yeah, I'll land there.
You know, I can dig what you got. Everybody was been saying. I think that like men do. There's some men, quite a few men. I don't want to say all men, but men do struggle with a woman that does make you more because he's the man. He's supposed to be a provider and stuff like that. For me, it doesn't matter. But if you take a woman, say, let's just say she makes over six figures, she just makes over six figures, and he's making a year, and she goes out and she buys a, a vehicle that's $90,000. Okay, now where a man may have an issue is if because he doesn't make as much as her, he may not feel that he can go out and make extended purchase. And I think that because she makes more money than him, he's not going to feel like he can go out and make extended purchase. But at the end of the day, if you're an item, then like I've always said, whatever if both people go out to the bank and make a withdrawal, they're not going to be able to tell what dollar she made and what dollar he made. So for me, it's always been just like a mental.
Yeah. And I wanted to add as well, one of the things that Will said and which is true. It's not so much how much money you're making, it's how much money you're keeping. Do you understand? So, as much as she might be making more than you, you might be keeping a lot more, and investing and all of that.
And that's a great point, Miss. It's not about just the money, it's also the financial wisdom. And that can, if it's not even about the spending habits, the financial wisdom a woman may have, as opposed to how much wisdom the man may have. And
Exactly.
and it goes back to Zell. I agree with you. The thing that the thing was the friends, going to the friends, and the friends, he allowed the friends to get into his head instead of
Yes.
maybe just going to a counselor or some type of third party that doesn't have any interest in what's going on. So that was the thing. And the thing that I did that I see was my mistake was I cowered down and appeased his insecurity. Zell was the debit card thing, always assuring him that I want you for you because it's all coming to the house. So that was my mistake, was appeasing his insecurity, which was his responsibility, not mine. And so it that's what I look at now as this room is helping me to reflect. It's not just about the spending of the money, it's also the wisdom that a person can contribute, the financial wisdom to help grow that money, to turn a dollar not into $2, but to turn that dollar into 100,000, 200,000. And if he doesn't know, he may be insecure about that just by her knowledge itself and her taking action for that to happen. So my name is Jackie and I land the plane.
Jack, you said a lot. And the crazy thing is, like, Uh, if I I've got some friends that I hold dear to my heart, and they all live, most of them live around. They are some brilliant sisters, and each one of them, we brainstorm, and each one of them, they all own their own business, and they all have the same mentality. I can ask them something, and they will be honest. They, their mentality is just get it done, and that's something that as a man, you can't. You need to embrace that type of shit. Embrace it because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if you're a woman or a man. You need to embrace that. The fact that you have that kind of mentality around you. And goodness, yeah, I mean that you said a lot. Absolutely love that. And
Definitely. With that being said, anybody else have let's switch gears off of that question. That question was going for a minute. That's definitely something else. I'm gonna spin a block on that question for sure. Cause
Slightly low, Pilar.
I said I'm definitely gonna come back to that question. That was really a great question. We was on that question for a good minute too. So with that being said, anybody else having any other questions before we move on? We got about 30 more minutes. Any of the queens, tonight is y'all night. You know that. So I'm always gonna open it up to y'all first.
Let's get our thinking hats on, ladies.
Let me. I definitely got a question. It just came from something that I seen earlier this week, and I just wanted to know how y'all feel about and this is great that it is a lot of mature women on the stage and stuff. How do y'all feel about the Bills situation? And just a quick some synopsis of how you feel. Because I know some women who feel like they not, because of how they grew up and the things that they've seen their parents go through, they feel like they should go through the same way. I just wanted to hear how y'all feel about that.
Elaborate a bit more. Paying the bills?
Bills period. It just came from something that I seen this week. I think it was this guy said that as a woman, if you have a man, you should not be paying bills. You shouldn't be paying to get your hair, your nails. You shouldn't be paying phone bills and stuff like that if you have a man. But I just felt, I personally felt because he's in a higher status, he can't really relate to us. So that's my answer to that. But I just wanted to know how women feel about that kind of thing. I don't know. I want to know if I'm really like tripping.
Good evening, good people. How y'all doing?
Good evening, Linda. He's a celebrity. He's
Good
a
evening.
singer.
What y'all talking about in here tonight?
Let's fall back and you're gonna hear. We talking about it right now. Miss Linda. All right, we talking. So he's a celebrity. He was an artist. You hear me,
So just
Jackie?
to clarify,
Yeah.
how do we women feel about man having to pay all the bills, get our hair done, get our nails done, just pay for everything effectively?
Absolutely. Do you feel like that's standard? And that's okay if that's your standard. Your views will be respected here. If you think that a man of that stature, that means you need to, you have to find a man that's financially fit at that point for you. And there's somebody for everybody. Right?
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I think for me, I don't need a guy to pay all the bills. No, I think that if we both live in a household, we both should contribute to the household. Now, don't get me wrong. I want my dudes to spoil me. So if I can't do it for myself and I say, hey, babe, I need X, Y, and Z because I ain't got it. I want to get it done. I want him to be like, I got you, boo. But I don't need him to pay all the bills and shit. And I think we should pay them together. I mean, respectfully, if he is the type of man who's like, nah, babe, I got the bills and you should put your money in a savings account or save for vacation or some shit like that, I'm with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to turn that shit down. But it's not a mandate for me. Could be my age or the shit I've been through that I feel like younger women today, they're like, oh, you got to pay everything. You got to do everything for me. And I just got to be like arm candy type shit. That's not really my motto. So for me, I don't mind us going half and half. I ain't trying to work harder than my man, and I ain't trying to do more than my man. Could definitely go half, but I do want a guy who spoil me and treat me like the queen that I am. I land my plane.
So, I have a question. And, in my past relationships,
Lonnie, just park that question for a second. I just wanted to see if any other women wanted to respond to Pelaez. Anyone want to chime in and respond to that before we move on to Lonnie?
No, but I just gotta say I love your accent.
Thank you. I love yours too, Linda. Perfect. All right, go ahead, Lonnie.
So
You're very low, Lonnie. We need you to speak up, Lonnie.
in my past, I have always, my girlfriends have never had the want for me. So there's ever a time where they're needing something or wanting something. They needed something done. I didn't have a problem with, getting it done for them. Or if they just wanted something, I didn't have an issue doing it. But speaking to some of my friends, they're telling me moving forward, maybe I should relax.
Lonnie, is there any way you can bring your volume up?
Yeah,
Really
like
low.
Lonnie, we really can't hear you, and you're going really like in and out. And I'm recording, and I'm on a podcast, so I really can't have the dead ear like that. You feel what I'm saying? Thank you.
Got you. So how about now?
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, that's much better.
That's lovely. Keep it like that.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right.
So in my past relationships, my girlfriends have never struggled, because if they ever hit a spot, I was always there for them, and if they ever wanted something, I was always there for them, just because, I enjoyed doing for them. Now moving forward, talking to, a lot of my friends, a lot of them tell me that, like, I need to relax on that. I need to chill, take a step back. But, it's just the nature in me, because when I'm with someone, I like to do what I can to provide or, give. I don't mind, spoiling the woman that I'm with. And if she has something that if she hits a hard spot, I don't have a problem with, you know, forking over some money for her so that she can get that handled. And I don't expect it back. It's just, for me, I tell everybody, if I'm dating you, it's because I think you have potential. You have potential to be my wife, and I'm going to walk that road until I figure out where we're going to go.
So what was the question, Lonnie?
I think his question is.
So,
go ahead. What's the question?
Yeah. So my friends have been telling me that, like, I need to step back from doing that and not be doing so much. From your perspectives, what do you think? What would you say?
Let me go real quick, Missy, and then I'll let you chime in because I'm sure you're about to. I just want to say that one, you shouldn't change who you are because of others' opinions of you. I think that there's nothing wrong with spoiling a woman and being there as a man if she needs you. I just think maybe just practice a little discernment to discern whether or not the women that you are doing for is using you versus, actually just, accepting whatever it is that, like, actually needing the help. So you have to be mindful of those who kind of will take that kindness for weakness. So I wouldn't
Right.
suggest that you throw all of that out up front and be like, oh, by the second day, oh, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. But you should make sure that she's worthy of some of those things before you go pouring it out, because women will take that genuine kindness nature in you and use you, unfortunately. So yeah, that's what I got to say. Go ahead, Missy.
I think you summarized what I was going to say, or pretty much.
Yeah,
Jackie,
great
when you're
minds
ready.
think alike.
The one thing I want to ask is, who are these friends? I keep. Who are these friends you're talking to? Are they in happy relationships? Where are they in their lives? What kind of wisdom?
Well,
Are you
right.
not
So
trusting yourself? The wisdom you're getting from within. I mean, you're the one interacting with these ladies. And I say it to you. I say it because I'm also checking myself. It's like we keep running to these friends. What happened to the guidance we're receiving from within? Our friends may have the greatest intention, but sometimes they can really mess us up because we don't know what they're going through in their lives, and the advice that they're giving us, we don't know, because of their lives, how they may react to events that happen in their life. So they're giving us advice based on their life experience, and it may not even be similar to what we're going through. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's all about checking all these people that we're running to for this advice, and just like really trusting ourselves. And if, just like what Linda said, the discernment, get that discernment of, should we do this? That's why, to me, I feel it's so important to allow things to happen and be patient and let people reveal who they are. So that's my little spill, and I land my plane.
Yeah, they absolutely will reveal who they are, and they absolutely will reveal who they are. And again, if you're by nature that kind of man that like doesn't mind taking care of, the woman in your life or whatever, like, yeah, people might be jealous. You gotta, like she said, the friends that are telling you that, they may not be coming from a genuine place. And if there's something inside you that makes you question where the relationship stands, or where she stands in your relationship, if there's any kind of like hesitation in your soul, like in your gut, trust it. Because I have learned that when my gut speaks to me, I like push it away and try not to ignore it. But in these 47 years I've been walking this earth, I will know, if you gotta question it, something ain't right. I land my plane.
So, question this is just a question I want to ask. And this is a great question because it bounces off of something that I think heard Linda say and another queen said. But I want to know, because y'all also said like you can't be really nice or whatever case may be. You can't go into this thing, basically showing your cards. And that went back to the same thing I said last week, is why you not being able to show your cards. Maybe that person is just not ready to be able to accept it. You get what I'm saying? Um, so the question really is that I want to ask is, does that scare y'all? Queens, and this is to the queens. Do it scare y'all? Even to the kings, do it scare you if a woman comes in on the same vibe of knowing exactly what they want for the relationship? Like, I want to date you. I look at you as you're gonna be my woman. Um, I'm definitely seeing marriage and maybe want to have kids if that's the case. Um, I could definitely see, you know, where I want to take this relationship. Does that scare y'all early in, like, let me say 30 days into the relationship?
Early on, absolutely. Because you can't love me before you know me.
I ain't say he love you.
yes.
I ain't say he love you. I ain't say
Right,
he
but if
love
you're
you. I'm
telling
just
somebody
saying,
that you want to marry them,
Yeah.
Love got to be in there somewhere.
I like it. I like
I mean,
Because sometimes, sorry, sometimes you can meet someone that you just resonate with in those first 30 days. And then you can kind of get an idea of, all right, I want to take this relationship to that level. Doesn't mean you're going to start planning the wedding and all that good stuff, and but you can kind of feel that space or that resonance. So would it scare me? No, not if I'm on the same page. If I'm not, hell yes.
I'm just listen. I don't think it would scare me. I think it scares me to go into any kind of relationship on some whatever happens on let's go with the flow. That scares me. That scares the hell out of me because I instantly it triggers something in the mind that is a game being played. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I think like the multi-dating is going on where now I feel like I'm fighting for my spot. So it would trigger me with the go with the flow situation. The
But
situation.
right, what if? But doesn't putting expectations on where the relationship gonna go make it more transactional as opposed to organic?
Absolutely not. You gotta put you gotta know where you want to go with the relationship. To me, that's what I'm saying. To go at my age right now and through the things I've been through, I feel like there's no reason I'm going with the flow. No, I need to know what we're doing. I need to know what's gonna happen in this relationship, respectfully. But that's why I'm asking the question, and I just want to know how y'all feel, like to get some feedback and get some clarity on and
So this is
comprehension
interesting
on
to
that.
me because I met someone and he's a really nice guy. But I don't know where it's going. He's got a 4-year-old daughter. And I'm asking myself, I like him. I do see him as like long-term potential. He could be
I
that.
was just about to say that, Linda.
Yeah, I do
Sorry, I
see him as
felt
that.
that
I
from
do see
you.
that, but I don't know if I'm ready to be a step-up. Honestly,
Why
my
not?
daughter's 15 because my daughter's 15 years old, and I've done
That's
that
still
4
young.
times. I don't know if I really want to do it again because that young lady requires his attention. I'm at the age where I want a man to be focused on me for who I am and what I bring to the table. I don't necessarily want him to love me out of obligation because of what I'm doing for his kid or because I'm helping him take care of his kid. I feel like I experienced that with my husband, who I spent 18 fucking years with. Excuse my French. I don't mean to offend nobody. From the Bronx, can't help it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Dame for
like he loved me
entrepreneurs cut.
too. I mean, I would never take that away that he loved me. However, I believe he loved me more for the role I played as opposed to the person I am. If that makes sense. I'll lay my plane.
Respect it. And anybody else wanted to chime in, especially on the comment that I just said. I definitely want
Yeah,
to hear
I would
how
like to
some of y'all
say,
think.
really quick, I agree with, I think it was Miss that said something about it. If it's not a hell yeah, it does feel like sometimes, if you go into something with somebody and you explain that chemistry is a big deal to yourself, and then 30 days in, and they, they express it back, thus you take it for a month, right? And then you get to this point where you almost feel like they're so structured that it's like a job interview, and you feel like if you go against their kind of structure right now, and they're demanding certain things or kind of steering or trying to steer the ship certain ways, you get this eerie feeling, or at least I have, where it's like, I have a feeling this person could cut me loose tomorrow. Like if I said, no, no, I'm not ready for exclusivity right now, or I'm not ready to take this more serious, or whatever it is. And it's just like, I have to question, if you're able to cut this dry tomorrow, then have you not really been in it from the start? It can't be a hell yes if you're willing to just like move on like a job interview. And from the beginning, it makes me question your intent, makes me question your passion, makes me kind of question everything. It looks like I just check boxes off your list. And I don't know, I feel like you can kind of smell it coming for certain people. Plane landed.
I have some people who real slick with it. There's some people who real slick with it.
Keep them away from me. No.
Come
With
on,
that,
next question, Pilar. Wake it up. Wake it up.
with that being said, I'm waiting for y'all. Y'all better ask this last question or last two questions to sound like we probably have. It's now 43 right now. We got about 17, maybe 15 more minutes. Anybody, anything else that stuck out to y'all tonight? If y'all got a question, go ahead, ask that question. I think I asked most of the questions tonight.
Yeah, I guess I want advice on how to deal with this man.
There you go.
I want advice
So
on
I
how to
was
deal with
right.
him because he seems like a really nice guy. You know, he's
Okay, talk to us then, Linda. Tell us, and we'll help. We'll chime in. We'll all chime in for you.
okay. So
Tell us.
we've only
Put
been
it on the
seeing
table.
each other for a little while. He's got a 4-year-old daughter that he said was a mistake, but she's here and he loves her. So I appreciate his honesty about that. I'm assuming he's being honest. He's not like he's my age, you know, we got a nice vibe with each other, but he sees his daughter every other weekend or every weekend, so that's when I'm off. So like how do I can't compete with that? So what do I do? I just stop seeing him because I know that he can't never really be in nothing serious because he's got a child, and a younger child, and he's got to focus his attention on her. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's a toughie.
Can I give my 2 cents? And here I am.
Sure, I want advice. That's why I'm asking.
Everyone chime.
Everyone chime in. I'll take it all.
Yeah, and then I got Oracle. Hold on, Miss Jackie, and then after that, Oracle has a question. So, all right. So go ahead. We go about 5 minutes. Go ahead.
What you just said, I don't think that's something to compete with. I don't think a time with his child is something to compete with. Because with that child, there's going to be moments that you can't repeat. There's going to be you just can't. So I don't find that. And if you see it as competition, that could be a red flag. And 2, always stay true to yourself.
I'll take it. Thank you.
My plan.
Thank you. I will take that into consideration.
Listen, let me tell you something. People make time for things and people that they feel is worth it. That's how I feel. Adjustments will be made. It's just it's just like the Warriors and Celtics right now, fourth quarter down 2. You're gonna make the key adjustments to win that game. If you want it bad enough,
I cannot with the Warriors.
you're gonna make the adjustments. If you don't, if it's not worth it to you, then you won't make the adjustments. I'm telling you, that's just how it goes. Too many times we have dated or been with or tried things, long distance relationships, things because we wanted those things. And the minute that we felt like we didn't want those things was no longer interesting to us, or we just lacked the effort, because we wasn't interested in those things anymore. But trust me, if you really want that man, you love that man, and you want to build anything with that man, you're gonna make the adjustments. You are going to make those adjustments.
I heard you, Mr. Pillow.
And he will
There you
too.
go.
Thank you all. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Oracle, what kind of question you had for the clubhouse? We got 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Pilar? How's everybody?
What's going on, Queen?
I'm good. I just wanted to know for the men, what is your interpretation of being a provider and a protector?
A provider and a protector. Any of the kings want to answer that before I do? That's a pretty easy
Love to hear
question.
from Willie if he's there.
Willie, you there, King?
How's it going, ladies, fellas? How's it going?
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think this is my opinion. Everybody had their own opinion. Now, I think being a provider and a protector, first of all, I think that starts with leadership. I think, in my opinion, that men are supposed to be leaders, and that's the way it is. And I believe that the issue of providing and protecting wouldn't be such a heavy topic if men focus on being leaders. I'm 47 years old, and I've never heard my dad, my uncles, neighborhood OGs even have a conversation with each other about being a provider or protector and wanting women to submit. It's one of them things where men stepped up and it just happened naturally. Now, but as far as the question, you know, a man can still be the leader of the house and not necessarily be the breadwinner. He may provide a certain expertise in the ways that maybe can maximize some of the things that him and his wife bring to the table that both make the house run effectively, if that makes sense or not. For example, let's say if a woman, the wife, has her own consulting company and she's just starting off, and she's having trouble trying to scale her business and make it grow. But let's say her husband has a job only making 50K or so a year, but he has the ideas in his mind to kind of help her business grow. That alone, I think, is a part of providing. He's providing, ideas to kind of make that household run better. That's my opinion and one example.
I want to give this answer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. To a provider and a protector. A provider, from what I've known my whole life, is just the person that pays the damn bills. That's that. I have never heard a different explanation other than, you know, emotional support and stuff. Like, yeah, you could provide emotional, but when we think about a provider, we think about the person that's gonna, the person that's out there working, putting in the work to bring the bacon home. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always looked at the provider as the person that's paying the bills. Now, when it comes to being a protector, that all ties right in because you're doing whatever you have to do to make sure that your family is okay, and that's part of protecting them. Is providing for them, providing a safe place or a home, making sure that the food or whatever, that nobody's starving in your house. So when I hear that provide and protect, those are the things that I instantly just think about. When it comes to what Will was saying about the being the leader and stuff like that, it's too many times we in this. I feel like we just in a seesaw fight to see who's the leader or whatever the case may be. The man can be the head of the household and still the woman can be a leader. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. That's how I seen it growing up. It just all depends on the dynamic of the relationship and who the two people, individuals in the relationship, though, when it comes to that part. That's all I had to say.
So, you know, I think that being a provider, protector, kind of
Lonnie, you went back to that old thing. You gotta take that off again. You forgot.
got you. How's this?
Yeah, you good.
All right. So, I think that those two words intertwine because in order for me to, it's not just about me being able to necessarily physically protect you, but to protect you mentally as well. And for me to provide, it's not just me monetarily providing for you, but it's also, giving you that mental nourishment that you need as well. And, making you safe within our commitment together. And, at least that's what it is for me. So I've landed my plane.
All right, so I think that's the only 3 men that's on the stage too. I would love to hear what it means to a woman, to the queens. You know what I'm saying? What does it mean to the queens right now? When you hear, when you're looking for a man that can protect and provide for you and your family, what does that mean to the queen? That's a really really good question. I would definitely like to hear what y'all got to say.
So I wanted to just say something first, if I could. Just wanted to say thank you to you guys for answering the question. I was really asking the question because I raised my boys myself. They're 31 and 19 now. I think I've done a pretty good job. My 31-year-old is a physical therapist for the New York Giants, and my 19-year-old has worked for Microsoft since he was 12. But we talk about those type of things because they never really had their father in their lives. And so I just wanted to hear the perspective of what does it mean to provide and protect, so I can have a better conversation with them. So thank you.
You're welcome, Queen. Thank you for raising
Yeah.
those kings.
Yeah, love that, Oracle.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right,
Yeah, I was actually, I was blessed to be raised by both of my parents. Born in the 70s. My dad worked in the steel plant. My mom was a CNA at a hospital. Just typical blue collar family, and I've always seen my dad provide and protect, meaning that my dad paid all the household bills. He made sure that on every Sunday morning, afternoon, that both of the cars, had gas for the week. He made sure that my mom had money to buy groceries and stuff, for my school stuff. I was blessed and raised to see that. So I left college. He got married out of college. Been in the military ever since then. So I've done the exact same thing. And I pay off all my household bills. I'm married and now I have 2 kids. I don't know. I still find it interesting that the topic seems to be so prevalent in the recent years. And I just can't figure out, why is it such, a hot topic? Nothing wrong with it. I just wonder why, all of a sudden, the topic of, women not submitting to men and so forth, and providing protecting is such a hot topic because again, when I was raised, I've always witnessed, my dad and my uncles just kind of take lead and and their wives just kind of you know I don't want to say fell in line, but it was a conversation that didn't have to be had.
This is Lauren. Can I say something to
Yeah, sure.
what's said?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Absolutely,
I've been
Lauren.
enjoying the space and the topic, and so a couple of things. When you think about the evolution of us, I say evolution meaning the growth, right? The growth um, of conversation around mental health, the growth conversation around vulnerability, transparency, and us asking questions. I think the reason that we're seeing we're seeing more conversations about the protect, the provide peace, and just really just understanding the opposite sex is because we finally have gotten to that space where people are curious enough to ask. At certain points growing up, you didn't ask questions because you weren't allowed to. You weren't, it wasn't welcome to. And a lot of times, not only was it not as welcome, they probably didn't really have an answer other than they saw somebody else doing it, right? And then there were other private conversations that as kids and then even as adults, we weren't necessarily privy to. And I think that as the generation grows, that we're finding that more people are curious, and they're curious enough not to just ask, but to get an understanding. And even for me, I was married for 10 years. I've been divorced 3 years now. And my parents were married for 21 years and were divorced. And I literally just had a conversation with my dad last week, just asked some really deep diving questions around, like, what made him decide to get married at 21? What was going on in his life? What things made him decide on my mom? These are things I'd never asked. I didn't ask, where did you propose and why did you choose that location and what did that location mean to you? And he said to me, he was like, no one had these conversations growing up. We weren't taught this. And so marriage doesn't come with this book, just like children don't really come with the book per se, and the communication skills and all the different things that come along with it. And so when I think about protect, provide, and from a man's perspective, as a woman for myself, I look for processes. I feel like God is my provider. So I'm not necessarily looking to make sure you're providing, but I'm more so concerned about your purpose and your process. Because if the purpose and your process is out of alignment, then you're gonna have a tough time inspiring someone to follow you, because no one has to. It's still a choice that's made every day. And so those are just kind of my thoughts around it. And I'm glad that we're able to start using our voices to share what things we've been kind of dealing with and have questions about, and bringing that conversation to the forefront. So I'll give my plan there.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for that input.
And we'll
Jump
come
in.
to we just came to that dead stop hour. Lauren,
Ah.
thank you so much, Queen. That was a handful. And with that being said, that is the end of our show, Dame Farm Entrepreneurs Tonight. We are open every Tuesday and Wednesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 o'clock. You can check us out on all platforms. When it comes to Instagram, you could check us out on Facebook. We have a page over there as well. We post clips on Instagram. We also have a YouTube page where you can actually check out some of the episodes as well. And I want to thank everybody for sharing the space. I am Pilar. I represent a premium streetwear brand with our own modern, unique designs. And the mission for my brand is to highlight pillars in the community and positive influences. I want to thank y'all again for sharing the space, and all y'all beautiful people, and then moderators, if y'all have anything to say, Miss Coco and Miss Priscilla, and then we get up out of here.
Yeah, I just want to say great conversation, guys. And for those of you who don't know, just tap on the greenhouse at the top and join the club. That way you guys will be notified of the next rooms. But thanks again.
Miss Coco? All right, so she's not there right quick. So with that being said, we up out of here. See y'all tomorrow night. I'm actually doing the members only. Right after here, we're going in the pull-up. So peace, love, and soul, y'all.
Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.